Greetings and salutations. Today we will be covering the twisted tapestry of the Lawson family murders. In the frostbitten air of North Carolina's Christmas of 1929, a tragedy would shatter the quietude of Germantown, near Dunbury. However, the roots of this grim tale extend far beyond the harrowing day itself, reaching back to a peculiar spending spree weeks prior. Charlie Lawson, aged 43, a farmer, led his wife, Fanny, and their 7 younglings on an uncharacteristic shopping spree in Winston-Salem. It was then that he would lavish them with new attire, which was an anomaly in the Lawson household due to the family's frugal routines. The peculiarities did not end there. Gathering his family in their fresh garb, Charlie arranged a family portrait to be taken at a photography studio, veiling his intentions under the disguise of a Christmas surprise. Yet beneath this facade of festivity lurked a sinister undercurrent. Charlie and Fanny had been married since 1911 and had witnessed both joys and sorrows, as 8 children had graced their lives. It must be noted that one of them succumbed to pneumonia at the tender age of 6. In 1918, they would relocate to Germantown, immersing themselves in the tobacco industry until 1927, when their toil bore fruit, which was the prosperous purchase of a farm on Brook Cove Road. However, the tranquility was ruptured on the fateful day when the Lawson family fell victim to a massacre, leaving behind a ghastly scene with crimson trails of blood spilt all over the Lawsons' cabin, and it was so abundant that the neighbors resorted to gathering the rivers of blood with a coal shovel. Astonishingly, the echoes of this tragedy linger to this day. Trudy Smith, an author who delved into the case, noted to have encountered a descendant of a visitor of the cabin post-tragedy. This individual recounted possessing a chilling relic, a jar brimming with Fanny's blood, salvaged as a morbid keepsake from the porch's edge. As it so happens, the macabre allure of the Lawson's murders proved irresistible. Even the dogwood tree against which Charlie chose to self-terminate suffered the insatiable curiosity of onlookers. Within hours of the grim discovery, the tree stood denuded, its branches stripped bare by those seeking a piece of this haunting tale to call their own. Investigators would discover that in the twilight hours, a routine of familial toil consumed the Lawsons. Charlie and Fanny, alongside their children, Arthur and Mary, united in the endeavor to repair their farmhouse from the decay that had been setting in. However, the restoration efforts would take a chilling turn where Charlie, amidst the labor, met a grim fate, an inadvertent blow to his forehead by an axe. The repercussions were stark, as this individual would survive yet have a notable change in his demeanor, noted by both his kin and their neighbors. As the sun set on Christmas Day 1929, a serene morning unfurled. Mary, stirring in the early hours, embarked on a culinary endeavor, whipping up together butter, sugar, and egg whites to craft her signature dessert. The delicate ritual of preparations would soon give way to the prospects of a festive celebration. Meanwhile, Charlie, Arthur, and their loyal beagles embarked on a hunting foray, their path abruptly interrupted by the depletion of ammunition. A swift decision to dispatch Arthur to Germantown in pursuit of replenishment left Charlie to wait amidst the quiet solitude of the Lawsons' farm. In the familial heat of the household, Mary diligently tended to the culinary creations while her younger sisters, Carrie and Mabel, ventured to visit their relatives. Unbeknownst to them, a grim specter loomed nearby. The family's patriarch had been lurking by the barn, and he had unveiled a heart-wrenching atrocity that would follow. His daughters would fall victim to his unfathomable rage. They would be met with a barrage of firearm fire and a brutal strike of a farming implement, and so their innocent lives would be extinguished. The chilling violence would reverberate throughout the house, as Charlie would then turn his wrath towards his wife, who had been engaged in the simple task of peeling potatoes on the porch. His shotgun blast shattered the tranquility and sealed her fate. With relentless determination, akin to that of a horror movie slasher, he stormed into the house, discharging his weapon upon Mary, who succumbed to death near the hearth. Young James and Raymond, ages 2 and 4, would then meet their tragic demise, their lives cut short by their father's unbridled fury. Even the tender 4-month-old Mary Lou was not spared his wrath, as her life would be snuffed out without a moment's pause. In the wake of this heinous carnage, Charlie was consumed by darkness that had been yet unspoken. As he vanished into the encompassing woods, the sun's descent would herald one more shot, a tragic percussion and culmination to a tale of unimaginable horror and violence. The haunting cries of the Lawson's loyal beagles served as a mournful guide, leading searchers to the lifeless forms of the patriarch along the rest of his family. Letters to his parents were found crumpled, bearing witness to his last words, "Blame nobody but I." A somber veil would drop over the entire town, the community forever haunted by the shroud of unanswered questions which encased the inexplicable events and the devastating losses of so many innocent lives. The harrowing truth of the Lawson family massacre remains etched in local history, seared into the annals of infamy by the tragic events that unfolded on Christmas Day, where a father became a perpetrator and unleashed unimaginable horror, erasing his own kin from life, forever shattering the sanctity of this town along with the festive occasion. The magnitude of his atrocities became things of infamy, yet amidst this unfathomable violence, a chilling duality emerged. His actions, marked by brutality, were juxtaposed by the eerie tenderness. It seems Charlie the assailant shifted from bludgeoning the younglings to delicately placing a pillow beneath their grievously fractured heads. This was a grotesque display of both ferocity and inexplicable care. The quest for understanding his reasoning includes whispers of incest, poverty, and the brain injury he had suffered. Yet the true catalyst behind Charlie's savagery remains an enigma, destined to elude comprehension. In the aftermath of the heinous act, tales would spread across the town. Walter Kid Smith, a luminary in North Carolina's musical sphere, seized upon this chilling saga. Crafting verses, Smith wove a haunting ballad titled "Murder of the Lawson Family," immortalizing the tragedy in song. This melodic chronicle found resonance, further etching its place into history when it was recorded by the Carolina Buddies under Smith's helm in 1930. Becoming a poignant testament to the macabre chapter in this town's legacy. Even in the wake of the passage of time, the ghostly echoes of sorrow persist as Arthur Lawson, the solitary survivor of the dark day, grappled with unrelenting grief that would drive him to seclusion. In moments of haunting solitude, he sought solace in the bottle, accompanied by the haunting stains that record the grim echoes of his family's slaughter. The legacy of the Lawson family stood as one of tragedy in both history and melody. The macabre aspects of this narrative transcend the boundaries of time and decency, enduring in relics of this gruesome event, including jars containing macabre souvenirs such as Fanny's blood or the pieces of bark from the tree where the patriarch self-terminated. Some 1,500 onlookers coming to the area each day, drawn by the macabre haunting mystique of the event. And as decades passed, more souvenirs and bits of this enigmatic tale have been found. Yet even with all this, the enigma surrounding the motive behind Charlie Lawson's unspeakable massacre remains a haunting riddle. What is available is a cryptic reference to a Christmas surprise, veiled beneath festivities, which beckoned speculation, hinting at a potential premeditation. However, others sought an explanation rooted in Charlie's head injury. However, a meticulous autopsy and cerebral scrutiny exam at Johns Hopkins Hospital unveiled no abrasions or lesions in his brain, leaving the core of this mystery surrounded by an impenetrable darkness. However, it would not be until the emergence of the book White Christmas, Bloody Christmas in 1990 that a haunting revelation surfaced, an insidious claim of incestuous relations between Charlie and Mary. Within these chilling pages lay a tale recounted by Stella Lawson, a relative whose startling disclosure revealed a disquieting secret. Fanny burdened by suspicion, confided in her sister-in-law and aunts, including Stella's own mother, Jetty Lawson, voicing suspicions and apprehensions about an incestuous affair between Charlie and Mary. This grim revelation unfurled a potential timeline steeped in foreboding. Jetty Lawson's demise in the early days of 1928 bore a testament to Fanny's concerns, having predated the grim tragedy by an entire haunting year. This unsettling revelation unearthed layers of familial horror, adding an unexpected dimension into an already unfathomable saga. The specter of incest, which had previously only been whispered in hushed tones, now cast an eerie shadow over the events leading to the catastrophic demise of almost the entirety of the Lawson family. Later, during their funeral service, the procession to Germantown's Browder Cemetery would become a solemn affair which would appear as one of a celebrity. The Lawson family, whose fate in the cemetery unfolded on December 27, 1929, was amidst the unprecedented convergence of both genuine mourners and a staggering swarm of nearly 5,000 strangers. The air thick with grief led the somber occasion to transcend its intent, becoming a spectacle as outsiders flocked to satisfy their macabre curiosity. Driven solely by sensationalized headlines and morbid fascination with the chilling tale that had seized the front pages of newspapers all across North Carolina. Photographers captured the grotesque scene as a throng of crowds and onlookers, their numbers rivaling those amassed for the greatest of gatherings at the time, was cramming itself into the cemetery grounds. Reports echoed of some scaling trees, desperate for a vantage point to catch a glimpse of the 7 caskets, each bearing the weight of unspeakable tragedy. As chronicled by the Winston-Salem Journal, from every corner they came, in reference to the relentless surge of humanity navigating the miles of terrain, who had been driven by an insatiable desire to bear witness and to be part of the sorrowful eulogies that pierced the air. Yet despite this spectacle, the Lawsons' once humble abode, now tainted by the lingering specter of blood, became yet another twisted magnet for the throngs. Charlie's brother, Marion, attuned to the financial burdens faced by the surviving son, Arthur, seized upon the ghastly infamy, and swiftly he would cordon the cabin and envision the potential of this macabre enterprise. Within a mere 10 days, the fenced-off property became a spectacle, a morbid attraction advertised for a mere quarter. The peak of this macabre spectacle witnessed an influx of 500 individuals every day, drawn by the allure of this grisly sight. Amongst them, souvenir seekers plundered the remains of what they could, clutching the raisins from Mary's cake or other grim trinkets, including blood-stained chips of wood and fabrics from the very house, to perversely perpetuate the saga of tragedy in a rather disrespectful manner. The auction that followed only amplified the grotesque nature of human fascination. The very instrument of horror, the shotguns wielded to extinguish the lives of the Lawson family, became the center of a frenzied bidding war, an unsettling testament to the perverse allure of tragedy and how desire made monsters out of men. As the dust settled, the family's possessions changed hands, leaving the haunting echoes displaced and displayed as memorabilia of a dark legacy, unraveling the bounds of human morality, of both the perpetrator and those who sought to entertain themselves with the remains of a broken family and lives extinguished. In the haunting aftermath of the Lawson's family tragedy, the threads of sorrow and sensationalism wove a dark tapestry, one which unveiled a grotesque carnival of macabre exhibits. Arthur, a son burdened with the weight of grief and financial responsibility, found himself thrust into an unsettling role, one dictated by the sinister enterprise orchestrated by Marion, Charlie's brother. This grotesque spectacle, which took the form of artifacts steeped in tragedy, including Arthur's siblings' very own crib being hoisted as a limelight exhibition at county fairs, unsettled the young man's now ailing mind, as his family's tragedy was paraded as a fanciful narrative to entertain the masses. Each piece was an embodiment of harrowing memories, made mockery by the actions of all those involved. Amongst the haunting display stood the remains of Mary's cake and the very stove that bore witness to its creation, and even one of Charlie's own implements of destruction were held up as a grim relic venerated by the gawking crowds. The commodification of this tragedy did not halt at the exhibit booths. Walter Smith, a pivotal figure in this chilling saga, adopted the guise of an educator, lecturing assembled tour groups at the infamous cabin. His talks, a culmination of grim tales, culminated in a haunting solo rendition of Carolina Buddy's haunting ballad, further disrespecting the last remaining member of the Lawson family. Yet amidst the veil of commercialization of the family's despair, the most harrowing memento of all lay in Charlie's calculated prelude to the horrors that unfolded. The excursion to Winston-Salem, the lavished expenditure on new clothing, and the orchestrated familial portrait which captured a facade of normalcy, a picture-perfect facade which belied the chilling gaze of the stern patriarch. Fanny's great-niece, Evelyn Hicks, echoed a haunting revelation, encapsulating Charlie's chilling manifesto in a single statement she had received. "It's my family, and I can do what I want with them." These words were a portentous omen preceding the unfathomable horrors that would befall the Lawson family, which resounded as a chilling testament to the darkness lurking within. If you remained with me until the end, I thank you, and I do hope you stay tuned and subscribe for more content.